I'm better than a 20-year-old for health. I think a lot of that's due to my new diet that I've adopted because I can just see things getting better and better over time. Meet Dr. David Sinclair, professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School. This is Dr. Sinclair in 2013, and this is him now. He was 44 years old, and now he is 54, but to me, he kind of looks younger over the years. The professor has changed the way he eats and changed his lifestyle. Scientifically, he says that his body is younger. I've looked at my blood biochemistry, and I'm actually now younger and healthier than I've ever been. Testosterone, glucose, inflammation, blood cell composition, but most of those markers I'm better than a 20-year-old for health. In this video, we will get straight into his scientific discovery in 5 parts. First, the exercise rules to longevity. Second, the most important eating habit to longevity. Third, the foods he eats for longevity. Fourth, the supplements he takes daily. And lastly, the foods he avoids for longevity. By living a healthy life, you can slow the rate of aging and prevent this corruption of the body's software and even reboot it. 1 simple exercise rule. Dr. Sinclair's advice on exercise is simple. Exercise 3 times a week and lose your breath. You want to be able to be moving so fast that you cannot carry out a conversation easily. That's when you know you're becoming hypoxic, low in oxygen. And this low oxygen, we think, is a very good stimulator of this stress on the body, and your body responds in a positive way to build muscle, get better blood flow, and also your tissues will put out chemicals that slow aging. So really, if you can just lose your breath for 10 minutes 3 times a week, that can give remarkable health benefits, lowering the rates of disease by 30%. The most important eating habit for longevity. The most important eating habit for longevity is eating less often. It's not just what you eat, it's also when you eat, and this constant eating, 3 meals a day plus snacks, is making us age faster than we need to. I like to eat within a period of about 6 hours a day. Over time, I learned to skip meals. I'm not always successful. Sometimes I have breakfast in beautiful places, but my goal is to not eat a large meal until dinner, and then I eat a very healthy vegan meal. So, what's the science behind the benefit of time-restricted feeding? If you're down to 1 meal a day, which I am now, you should wait, and then you get your 20-year-old body back. That's a nice bonus. It's the period of not eating that's so important for boosting the body's defenses against aging. To maximize longevity, these long extended periods do a real deep cleanse on the body and turn on that autophagy, that process of recycling proteins very deeply. There is a set of genes that I wrote about in my book Lifespan that's called the sirtuins, and they get turned on when there's not enough energy in the body. So if you don't have a lot of sugar in your bloodstream or a lot of protein, they will get turned on, and they defend the body against the damage that causes aging. Certain diseases, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, even cancer, seem to also benefit from fasting, including when you combine chemotherapy with fasting, you get this double benefit for many types of cancers. Here is a practical tip from Dr. Sinclair for anyone who wants to start intermittent fasting. The trick is that you want to fill your body with fluids. For me, constant coffee, tea, hot water, all the way through the day being hydrated and filled with liquid takes away any feeling of hunger. Also, nuts. If you really need to eat something, a bit of protein is known to take away the feeling of hunger rapidly. You want to have at least 16 hours of not eating or not eating very much, and then you can have 8 hours. So typically, that means having a late lunch if you skip breakfast, or if you prefer to skip dinner, skip that. That gives my body this long window, more than 20 hours of not having glucose circulating from the external world. Now, what happens when you do that, and it takes a few weeks for your body to adapt, is that your liver will learn how to compensate for a lack of food. It's called gluconeogenesis, the generation of glucose from your liver. It actually overcomes the feeling of hunger. Do it for at least 2 weeks because after 2 weeks, especially by the 3-week mark, your liver has now learned that you're not going to have breakfast or lunch, and it will start making glucose at a steady level. That's really important because it's known that if you have these spikes of glucose, it leads to hunger when it crashes after a big meal. What Professor David Sinclair eats for longevity. So, during the 6-hour span of the eating window, what does Dr. Sinclair eat? I went almost completely to plants, and my body has responded. I look better, I think my skin is better, I feel better, my memory is certainly better. You just look at those populations and people that live a long time. They are generally smaller women who don't eat much, who eat vegetarian. That's the fact. So, is it any plant he eats? No, he focuses on what he calls stress plants. This evolves around the concept called xenohormesis. It's a hypothesis that posits that certain molecules such as plant polyphenol, which indicates stress in the plants, can have benefits for another organism that consumes them. The expected benefits include improved lifespan and fitness by activating the animal's cellular stress response. 3 supplements David Sinclair takes daily. Dr. Sinclair is often quoted as taking 3 supplements daily: resveratrol, NMN, and metformin. One of 3 things that you want to take consistently. I would take resveratrol. I take a gram with a bit of yogurt. NMN is a version of vitamin B3 that makes a chemical in the body that we need for life, called NAD. As we get older, we make less and less of this, and without NAD, these sirtuins that we discovered slow aging. The third one is metformin, which is used for type 2 diabetes to control blood sugar, but people who take metformin tend to live a lot longer, even those who don't have type 2 diabetes. Top 5 Foods Drive. David Sinclair does not eat.
1.
Sugar. The big killer is sugar. Glucose, particularly fructose, is also pernicious. If you give animals lots of glucose, especially fructose, they will get fatty liver disease, they'll get diabetes. It's really bad.
2. Bread.
The first thing I cut out was a lot of carbohydrates. I used to eat bread every day. I would just put if I ate something, it would be on toast. I cut that out and found immediate improvements in my biochemistry levels, particularly my glucose levels. 3.
Meat.
The next thing I decided to cut out from my diet was meat, and the results were remarkable. My health markers improved significantly. My cholesterol levels dropped, my triglycerides became more balanced, and my overall cardiovascular health showed noticeable enhancement. I had always enjoyed eating meat. There's no denying that it has an appealing taste and texture, and for many, it is a staple of their diet. However, as I delved deeper into the science of longevity and optimal health, I realized that consuming a plant-based diet offers far greater benefits in the long run. Research has shown that plant-based protein sources, such as legumes, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, can provide the essential amino acids the body needs, while also activating longevity-associated pathways like the sirtuins and mTOR in a way that animal protein does not. In contrast, excessive meat consumption has been linked to inflammation, higher risks of cardiovascular diseases, and other metabolic concerns. By shifting my focus toward a diet centered around nutrient-dense plants, I was able to support my body's natural defenses against aging, improve my overall well-being, and experience a newfound sense of energy and vitality. While I still appreciate the taste of meat, the evidence supporting a plant-based diet for longevity and health is simply too compelling to ignore.
4. Dairy.
I decided to make a change just out of curiosity. I wanted to see what would happen if I eliminated dairy from my diet. At first, I assumed it wouldn't make much of a difference. After all, I'm not allergic to dairy and I don't have lactose intolerance, so I didn't expect to notice any major changes in how I felt. However, to my surprise, cutting out dairy did have an effect, and it was a positive one. I started noticing subtle but meaningful improvements in my overall well-being. My digestion became smoother, I felt less bloated after meals, and my energy levels became more stable throughout the day. My skin also seemed clearer, and even though I wasn't specifically looking for any changes in my complexion, it was an unexpected bonus. Beyond that, my cholesterol levels showed further improvement, reinforcing the idea that even small dietary adjustments can make a big impact on long-term health. While I had always thought of dairy as a harmless, even beneficial, food group packed with calcium and protein, the reality was that my body functioned even better without it. It made me realize that sometimes we don't notice how certain foods affect us until we remove them from our routine. Looking back, I'm glad I decided to experiment with this change, because it showed me that even the things we assume are insignificant can sometimes have a profound effect on our health and overall quality of life.
5.
Alcohol. Over the past couple of years, new research has emerged that challenges long-held beliefs about alcohol consumption and its effects on health. While it was once thought that having a glass of wine or a drink each day might offer some health benefits, particularly for heart health, Recent studies suggest otherwise. The latest findings indicate that drinking alcohol daily is not as harmless as we once believed and, in fact, may be more detrimental to our health than previously understood. With this growing body of evidence, I made the decision to eliminate alcohol from my lifestyle and instead focus on a diet rich in plant-based foods that promote longevity and overall well-being. The shift wasn't just about avoiding the potential negative effects of alcohol, it was also about embracing the benefits of a plant-focused diet, which has been consistently shown to improve health markers, reduce inflammation, and support longevity. By cutting out alcohol, I noticed an improvement in my sleep quality, mental clarity, and energy levels. Additionally, my body felt more balanced, and I no longer experienced the sluggishness or disrupted sleep patterns that even moderate alcohol consumption can cause. However, for those who still enjoy the occasional glass of wine and wish to continue drinking in a way that aligns with better health choices, Dr. Sinclair recommends opting for stress-sensitive grape varieties, such as Pinot Noir. These particular grapes contain the highest levels of resveratrol, a compound that has been linked to various health benefits, including potential anti-aging properties and cardiovascular support. While moderation is key, selecting a wine made from grapes that naturally produce higher levels of protective compounds may be a better alternative for those who wish to continue enjoying an occasional drink while still being mindful of their health.